When fear is not justified, approach what you fear rather than avoiding it. Do what you are afraid to do rather than walking away. When anger is not justified, gently avoid the person you are angry with rather than attacking. Avoid thinking about them rather than ruminating about all the terrible things that person has done. Distract yourself. Do something kind rather than mean. Try to see the other person's point of view rather than blaming them. Practice half smiling and willing hands. We will learn these skills in the 5th module on distress tolerance. When disgust is not justified, there is no danger of contamination or harm. Bring the food or item that you find disgusting very close to you and keep it close while distracting yourself from irrelevant, disgusting thoughts, or embrace the person you find disgusting. Once you find out that your perception is inaccurate, increased exposure to that person increases the possibility for liking them. This is true primarily for people who are similar to you. If it becomes clear after spending more time with a person you thought you disgusted, and this person is not similar to you, the liking may decrease, but you shouldn't start feeling disgusted again. When envy is not justified, the opposite action is to count your blessings and inhibit urges to diminish what others have. When jealousy is not justified, there is no threat to what you have or possess. Opposite action is letting go of controlling others or a situation and to share what you have with other people. When love is not justified, that is, you love an inappropriate or wrong person or thing, opposite action is to avoid and distract from the person or thing that is loved. All of the reminders, including loving thoughts, while constantly reminding yourself of a way love is unjustified. An example would be when the person you love does not love you. When sadness is not justified, particularly when you are also depressed, get active. Do the things that make you feel competent and self-confident rather than being passive. Increase rewarding activities and pleasant events. Approach, don't avoid. Sadness and disappointment are normal emotions and are often justified by the facts. They become problematic when they outlive their usefulness. Behaviors of sadness, like isolation and ruminating about what you lost, can make it very difficult to stop feeling sad. This can lead to a vicious cycle of depression, which often includes isolation and so can keep regenerating the very depressing we are trying to get rid of. When shame is not justified, there is no threat of being rejected by others. The opposite action for shame is to stop hiding your behavior with people who you know won't reject you. When your behavior violates your own morals, but you will not be rejected by others if they know about it, act on the emotion of guilt. If you lost something you borrowed from someone, meet with them. Apologize and offer to replace the lost item. If your behavior does not violate your own moral values, reduce shame by repeating the behavior over and over in a group that will not reject you. Behavior and personal characteristics can be moral and valued by you, and yet shame can still be justified. If others you care about will ostracize you for that behavior or those personal characteristics in the situation, it can be important to fight the social norms of the group and advocate to change its values. When guilt is not justified, that is, your behavior does not violate your own values or moral code, several opposite actions might be called for. The main opposite action is to continue with the behavior and stop apologizing for it. If your behavior violates other people's values but not your own, shame is justified but not guilt. You can either hide the behavior. That might be important if the community is one you want to stay in. And you might be kicked out if they know about your behavior. You can leave and join a different community or try to change the community's values. In the third case, social action to change community's values would also be a form of opposite action to shame. Although values and moral codes are very similar, they can be differentiated. A moral code is a set of beliefs about what behaviors are wrong or immoral, or in some vocabularies, sinful. Values, in contrast, are what is viewed as important and valuable in your life. Although there may be an overlap between behaviors that are important to avoid and behaviors that violate your moral code, they are not identical ideas. Values refer to what you want to do in life. Morals refer to what you want to avoid doing. This is not an absolute truth, but it's useful for learning these concepts. People and cultures may have different views about what behaviors are moral and immoral. Morality can be learned by observation, by consequences while being raised, or by indirect teaching. A personal moral code may have been learned in school or through attending religious activities. Some people can articulate their own moral codes very clearly. Others, who may be just as moral, may have difficulties describing their moral codes.